Welcome to Deeper Dimensions, a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the depths of consciousness, reality, and the universe. We offer a variety of content on meditation, relaxation, storytelling, philosophy, science, and the cosmos. We aim to help you expand your mind, awaken your consciousness, and live a more fulfilling life.
Metaphysical concepts and principles, exploring the foundations of reality and existence. Introduction. Metaphysics, a branch of philosophy that has captivated thinkers for centuries, delves into the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and the interconnectedness of all things. Derived from the Greek term metaphysica, which means beyond physics or what comes after the physical, metaphysics seeks to uncover the hidden structures and underlying principles that govern the universe. This field of philosophy is often characterized by its abstract and often perplexing concepts, challenging our understanding of the world we inhabit. In this comprehensive exploration of metaphysical concepts and principles, we will delve into the historical development of metaphysics, its key components, and how it continues to influence modern philosophy and science. Historical evolution of metaphysics. The history of metaphysics is an intricate tapestry of ideas, spanning centuries and shaped by a multitude of thinkers, from ancient philosophers to contemporary scholars. To understand the evolution of metaphysics, we must begin with its origins in ancient Greece. 1. Ancient Greek foundations. The birth of metaphysics can be traced back to ancient Greece, particularly with the works of pre-Socratic philosophers like Thales, Anaximander, and Heraclitus. These thinkers were concerned with the fundamental substance or principle that underlies all of existence. For Thales, it was water; for Anaximander, the infinite, apeiron; and for Heraclitus, it was the notion of constant change or becoming. Their investigations paved the way for the metaphysical tradition by raising questions about the ultimate nature of reality and the relationship between the physical world and a deeper, unseen reality. A pivotal figure in the history of metaphysics is Aristotle, whose writings laid the foundation for the systematic study of metaphysical concepts. In his work Metaphysics, Aristotle sought to explore the nature of being, existence, and developed key metaphysical concepts, such as substance, form, and potentiality. He introduced the concept of substance as that which exists independently and serves as the underlying reality of all things. This notion of substance would later become central to the metaphysical tradition. 2. Medieval metaphysics. The development of metaphysics continued during the medieval period, particularly in the works of Christian theologians like Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas's Summa Theologica merged Aristotelian metaphysics with Christian theology, seeking to reconcile faith with reason. He expanded on Aristotle's ideas of substance and introduced the concept of essence as that which defines the nature of a thing. This period also saw discussions of topics like universals, the problem of individuation, and the nature of God, further shaping the metaphysical discourse. 3. Modern and contemporary metaphysics. The emergence of modern philosophy with figures like René Descartes, Baruch Spinoza, and Immanuel Kant brought new dimensions to metaphysical inquiry. Descartes' famous statement, "I think, therefore I am," emphasized the role of the thinking subject in establishing reality. Spinoza's pantheistic metaphysics asserted that everything is a manifestation of a single, divine substance, challenging traditional religious notions. Immanuel Kant introduced a critical perspective on metaphysics in his Critique of Pure Reason. He argued that the nature of reality is partly shaped by human perception and cognition, making it impossible to know the ultimate nature of things beyond human experience. Kant's ideas initiated the development of different metaphysical schools, each offering unique perspectives on reality. Contemporary metaphysics is a vibrant and diverse field that encompasses various branches, including ontology, epistemology, and the philosophy of mind. The exploration of metaphysical concepts continues in domains like analytic metaphysics and continental philosophy, with thinkers like Ludwig Wittgenstein, Martin Heidegger, and Jean-Paul Sartre pushing the boundaries of traditional metaphysical thought. Key metaphysical concepts. Metaphysical inquiry involves the examination of fundamental concepts that shape our understanding of reality and existence. While these concepts can vary depending on the philosophical tradition and perspective, several core ideas are central to metaphysics. 1. Being and existence. At the heart of metaphysics is the question of being and existence. This concept seeks to understand what it means for something to exist, what existence entails, and whether there is a fundamental distinction between being and non-being. The relationship between essence, what a thing is, and existence, that a thing is a central theme in discussions of being. Aristotle's distinction between potentiality and actuality is a fundamental aspect of understanding existence. Potentiality refers to what something can become, while actuality pertains to its current state of being. This distinction highlights the dynamic nature of existence and the potential for change and growth in all things. 2. Substance and properties. Substance, as conceived in metaphysics, is the underlying, independent reality that constitutes the foundation of all things. It is that which exists in itself and is not dependent on anything else for its existence. Substance can take on various forms, from material objects to abstract entities. Properties, on the other hand, are characteristics or attributes that belong to a substance. They help define the nature of the substance and distinguish it from other entities. Properties can be further categorized into essential properties, those necessary for an entity to be what it is, and accidental properties, those that do not define the essence of the entity. 3. Reality and universals. Metaphysics also delves into the nature of reality and how we can categorize and understand it. One of the debates in metaphysics is the problem of universals, which deals with the nature of general qualities or concepts that can be predicated of multiple individual entities. For example, the concept of redness can apply to various red objects, such as apples and fire trucks. The question is whether these general concepts or universals exist independently or only in the individual objects. Realism and nominalism are two competing positions regarding the existence of universals. Realism posits that universals have an independent existence, while nominalism argues that they are merely linguistic conventions or mental constructs. This debate has profound implications for how we understand the nature of reality and our ability to make meaningful generalizations about it. 4. Time and space. Time and space are fundamental metaphysical concepts that shape our perception of the world. The nature of time is a recurring theme in metaphysical discussions, with questions about its flow, existence, and relationship to reality. Some philosophers, such as Immanuel Kant, argue that time is a necessary framework for human experience and is a priori, while others, like J.M.E. McTaggart, have explored the nature of time itself. Space, similarly, is a subject of metaphysical inquiry. Questions about the nature of space, whether it is absolute or relational, have intrigued philosophers for centuries. Theories such as Leibniz's relational space and Newton's absolute space have influenced the development of physics and our understanding of the physical world. 5. Causation and determinism. Causation deals with the relationship between cause and effect, which is fundamental to our understanding of how events unfold in the world. Metaphysical discussions on causation often involve debates about determinism and free will. Determinism holds that every event is predetermined by prior events and the laws of nature, leaving no room for genuine choice or freedom. The question of whether determinism is compatible with free will is a complex and ongoing debate in metaphysics.
6. Mind and body. The mind-body problem is a central issue in metaphysics, as it addresses the nature of the relationship between the mental and the physical. There are various positions on this issue, ranging from dualism, which posits a fundamental distinction between mind and body, to physicalism, which argues that everything, including mental phenomena, can be explained in physical terms. René Descartes famously advocated for substance dualism, suggesting that the mind and body are distinct substances with different properties. Contemporary philosophers explore physicalist positions, such as the identity theory, which proposes that mental states are identical to physical states of the brain. 7. Abstract objects and existence. Metaphysical discussions extend beyond the physical world to encompass abstract objects, which are non-physical entities like numbers, mathematical structures, and concepts. The existence of abstract objects raises questions about whether they have a real, independent existence or are simply mental constructs. Platonism, for instance, argues that abstract objects have objective reality, existing independently of human thought. Nominalism, on the other hand, contends that abstract objects are human inventions or conventions. The debate between these positions carries profound implications for fields like mathematics and the philosophy of language. Principles of metaphysics. Metaphysical principles provide a framework for exploring and understanding the concepts mentioned above. These principles guide metaphysical investigations and shape the way philosophers approach questions about reality and existence. 1. Principle of sufficient reason, PSR. The principle of sufficient reason is a fundamental metaphysical principle that asserts that for every fact or true proposition, there is a sufficient reason or explanation why it is so and not otherwise. In other words, nothing happens without a reason, and everything that exists has a cause or explanation for its existence. The PSR encourages metaphysicians to seek answers to questions about the nature of reality and to look for underlying causes or explanations. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, a prominent philosopher, was a strong advocate of the PSR. He argued that the PSR is essential for understanding the nature of reality and the existence of contingent beings. Leibniz believed that the PSR leads to the conclusion that there must be a necessary being, God, that is the ultimate reason for all contingent beings. 2. Principle of identity. The principle of identity, also known as the law of identity, is a foundational principle in metaphysics and logic. It states that each thing is the same with itself and different from everything else. In other words, if two entities are truly identical, they share the same properties and characteristics, making them indistinguishable from one another. This principle plays a significant role in discussions of substance and essence. It allows metaphysicians to define and distinguish entities based on their essential properties, helping to clarify the nature of being and existence. 3. Principle of non-contradiction. The principle of non-contradiction is another fundamental principle of logic and metaphysics. It asserts that a proposition and its negation cannot both be true at the same time and in the same sense. In other words, contradictions are impossible in a coherent and consistent system of thought. The principle of non-contradiction is closely related to the law of excluded middle, which states that a proposition must be either true or false, with no middle ground. This principle helps metaphysicians establish the logical coherence of their arguments and ensure that their theories do not lead to self-contradictions. 4. Principle of individuation. The principle of individuation addresses the metaphysical question of what makes individual entities distinct from one another. It seeks to answer how we can differentiate between two things of the same kind, such as two identical twins or two identical atoms. The principle provides criteria for distinguishing one individual from another. In metaphysical discussions, the principle of individuation can be associated with the concept of haexiety, which refers to the unique, individual properties that make something this particular thing. For example, the haexiety of a specific human being includes their unique spatial and temporal location, their personal experiences, and other specific attributes that differentiate them from all other individuals of the same kind. 5. Principle of Occam's razor. Occam's razor, often stated as entities should not be multiplied without necessity, is a principle that encourages metaphysicians to seek the simplest and most parsimonious explanations for phenomena. In other words, when multiple explanations or hypotheses are available, the one with the fewest assumptions or entities is usually favored. Occam's razor helps to prevent unnecessary complexity and metaphysical extravagance in theories. It encourages philosophers to eliminate unnecessary entities or postulates from their explanations, thus striving for greater clarity and coherence in their metaphysical systems. Key metaphysical schools and traditions. Metaphysical inquiry has given rise to various schools of thought and traditions, each offering distinct perspectives on reality, existence, and the fundamental nature of the world. Some of the most notable metaphysical schools and traditions include: 1. Idealism. Idealism is a metaphysical tradition that posits the primacy of the mind or consciousness in shaping reality. It holds that the external world is fundamentally a product of the mind and that the physical world is dependent on mental perceptions. This perspective challenges the notion of an independently existing physical reality and has been championed by philosophers like George Berkeley and Immanuel Kant. George Berkeley, in his philosophy of idealism, argued that the only things that exist are minds and the ideas in those minds. He famously posed the question, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? His answer was that the tree only exists as an idea in the mind of God, who is constantly perceiving it. 2. Materialism. Materialism, or physicalism, is the metaphysical position that the only reality that exists is the physical world. It asserts that everything can be explained in terms of physical properties and that mental phenomena can be reduced to physical processes. This perspective has strong roots in the natural sciences and is often associated with thinkers like Thomas Hobbes, Karl Marx, and contemporary neuroscientists. Materialists argue that everything, including consciousness and mental states, can be understood as the result of physical processes in the brain and body. This position has profound implications for our understanding of the mind-body relationship. 3. Dualism. Dualism posits a fundamental distinction between the mental and the physical, often framed as the mind-body duality. This perspective asserts that there are two distinct kinds of substances in the universe: mental or spiritual substances and physical substances. René Descartes is a well-known advocate of substance dualism, arguing that the mind and body are fundamentally different entities with different properties. Epiphenomenalism is a form of dualism that suggests that mental phenomena are produced by physical processes but do not have a causal influence on the physical world. In this view, the mind is seen as an epiphenomenon of the brain, which raises challenging questions about the role of consciousness in the world. 4. Panpsychism. Panpsychism is a metaphysical theory that posits that consciousness or mind is a fundamental property of the universe and is not limited to human beings or sentient creatures. This perspective suggests that all things, even inanimate objects, possess some form of consciousness or mental properties. Panpsychism offers a radical departure from the anthropocentric view of consciousness and has gained attention in contemporary philosophy. Philosopher David Chalmers has proposed a modern version of panpsychism known as panprotopsychism, which suggests that the universe is composed of fundamental entities with proto-conscious properties. These entities combine to give rise to conscious experiences in sentient beings. 5. Process philosophy. Process philosophy, influenced by the work of Alfred North Whitehead, challenges the traditional metaphysical focus on static, unchanging entities. It emphasizes the dynamic and relational nature of reality, viewing everything as a process that is constantly evolving and interconnected. Process philosophy argues that the world is not composed of static substances but of events and processes. This perspective has had a significant impact on the philosophy of science and has inspired discussions on topics like causality, time, and the nature of change. Process philosophy highlights the need to consider the temporal dimension of reality and the evolving nature of existence. 6. Metaphysical realism and anti-realism. Metaphysical realism asserts that the objects of metaphysical inquiry have an objective and independent existence. It holds that reality exists independently of human thought and perception. Realists argue that the truth or falsity of metaphysical statements is determined by the way the world is, regardless of human beliefs. Metaphysical anti-realism, on the other hand, denies the objective reality of metaphysical entities and concepts. Anti-realists contend that metaphysical claims are not about objective truths but rather reflect the structure of language, thought, or cultural practices. This perspective is particularly influential in the philosophy of language and the philosophy of science. 7. Analytic and Continental metaphysics. Metaphysics in the 20th and 21st centuries has been shaped by the divide between two major traditions, Analytic and Continental metaphysics. While both traditions share the goal of exploring metaphysical questions, they differ in their approaches, methodologies, and areas of emphasis. Analytic metaphysics, associated with philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein, Willard van Orman Quine, and David Lewis, focuses on rigorous analysis of metaphysical concepts and propositions. It often employs formal logic and linguistic analysis to clarify and dissect metaphysical issues. Analytic metaphysics has a reputation for its precision and concern with the clarity of language. Continental metaphysics, on the other hand, is rooted in the continental European philosophical tradition and includes philosophers like Martin Heidegger, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Maurice Merleau-Ponty. Continental metaphysics places a strong emphasis on existential and phenomenological inquiry, delving into questions about human existence, subjectivity, and the relationship between humans and the world. This tradition often engages with existentialism and hermeneutics, exploring how individuals experience and make meaning of their existence. Despite their differences, both traditions contribute to the ongoing development of metaphysics, expanding the range of questions explored and the methods used to address them. The intersection of metaphysics and modern science. Metaphysics has long been intertwined with scientific inquiry, and the relationship between the two continues to evolve. While metaphysics and science serve distinct but complementary roles in understanding the nature of reality, they often intersect in areas of common interest. Here are several ways in which metaphysics and modern science intersect and inform each other. 1. Philosophy of science. The philosophy of science is a branch of philosophy that examines the foundations, methods, and assumptions of scientific inquiry. Metaphysical questions are often relevant in discussions within the philosophy of science, as they shape the way we understand the nature of scientific theories and the relationship between scientific models and reality. Key topics in the philosophy of science include the nature of scientific laws, the structure of scientific explanations, and the problem of induction. Metaphysical considerations can influence the way scientists approach these questions and assess the scope and limitations of scientific theories. 2. Quantum mechanics and metaphysics. Quantum mechanics, a fundamental theory in physics, has raised profound metaphysical questions about the nature of reality. Concepts within quantum mechanics, such as superposition, entanglement, and wave-particle duality, challenge classical intuitions about the physical world. The interpretation of quantum mechanics is a fertile ground for metaphysical inquiry. Various interpretations, such as the Copenhagen interpretation, many worlds interpretation, and pilot wave theory, offer distinct metaphysical perspectives on the nature of quantum phenomena. These interpretations delve into issues like the measurement problem, the role of observers, and the existence of parallel universes, blurring the lines between physics and metaphysics. 3. Emergence. Emergence is a concept that bridges metaphysics and complex systems theory in science. It refers to the phenomenon in which higher-level properties and behaviors emerge from the interactions of lower-level components. For example, the behavior of a social group emerges from the interactions of individual members. Metaphysicians and scientists explore the nature of emergent properties and whether they can be reduced to the properties of the underlying components. This topic raises questions about the relationship between the micro-level and macro-level descriptions of reality and the role of supervenience, which asserts that higher-level properties are dependent on lower-level properties. 4. Cosmology and the nature of the universe. Cosmology, the study of the universe's origin, structure, and evolution, is deeply entwined with metaphysical questions about the nature of the cosmos. Theories about the Big Bang, cosmic inflation, and the ultimate fate of the universe prompt metaphysical inquiries into the origin of space and time, the nature of the singularity, and the possibility of multiple universes, multiverse theories. Metaphysical discussions intersect with cosmology when considering concepts like the fine-tuning of the universe, which raises questions about the nature of physical constants, the existence of intelligent life, and the anthropic principle. These discussions have significant implications for our understanding of the universe and its place in the broader scheme of existence. 5. Consciousness and the brain. The study of consciousness, often referred to as the hard problem of consciousness, is a point of intersection between metaphysics and neuroscience. Understanding the relationship between mental states and physical brain processes raises fundamental questions about the nature of consciousness and its place in the physical world. Metaphysical perspectives, such as physicalism, dualism, and panpsychism, inform the way we approach the mind-body problem and the nature of conscious experience. These debates have direct implications for the philosophy of mind and the ethical and practical questions surrounding issues like artificial intelligence and neuroscientific research. Challenges and criticisms in metaphysics. Metaphysics, due to its abstract and often speculative nature, has faced a range of challenges and criticisms throughout its history. Some of the key challenges include: 1. Lack of empirical verification. One of the primary criticisms of metaphysics is that it often lacks empirical verification. Many metaphysical concepts and principles deal with abstract entities, universal principles, and questions about the ultimate nature of reality. These topics can be challenging to verify through empirical observation or experimental methods, leading some to question the validity of metaphysical claims. Empiricism, as advocated by philosophers like John Locke, David Hume, and the logical positivists of the Vienna Circle, contends that meaningful statements must be based on empirical evidence and observable phenomena. Since many metaphysical claims do not meet this criterion, empiricists argue that they may lack cognitive content. 2. Ambiguity and lack of clarity. Metaphysical discussions often involve abstract concepts and complex language, which can lead to ambiguity and a lack of clarity. Philosophers may use terms like essence, substance, and being in various ways, making it difficult to reach a shared understanding of the concepts. This ambiguity can hinder productive discourse and make it challenging to evaluate the merits of different metaphysical positions. Efforts to clarify and define metaphysical concepts have been made, but disagreements persist about the best way to achieve precision and coherence in metaphysical discourse. Analytic metaphysics, for example, seeks to use rigorous logical analysis to refine metaphysical concepts and propositions, but not all philosophers agree on the utility of this approach. 3. Subjectivity and relativity. Metaphysical positions often reflect a philosopher's personal worldview, cultural background, or philosophical commitments. This subjectivity can give rise to relativism, wherein different metaphysicians may hold conflicting beliefs about the nature of reality without a clear means of adjudicating between them. The lack of an objective, independent standard for evaluating metaphysical claims has led some to argue that metaphysical debates are ultimately inconclusive or unresolvable. This subjectivity can make it challenging to determine which metaphysical positions, if any, provide a more accurate or coherent account of reality. 4. Over-reliance on speculation. Metaphysics has been criticized for its tendency to rely heavily on speculation and conjecture. Some argue that metaphysical discussions often involve making unfounded claims about the nature of reality that cannot be supported by evidence or rigorous argumentation. This over-reliance on speculation can lead to the formulation of intricate metaphysical systems that lack a solid foundation. Critics point out that metaphysical speculation can sometimes drift into the realm of mysticism, pseudoscience, or unfalsifiable claims, which may hinder the credibility of metaphysical inquiry. To address this concern, proponents of metaphysics strive to ground their theories in rigorous argumentation and logical consistency. 5. Lack of practical relevance. Metaphysical questions often deal with abstract and theoretical concepts that may appear to have limited practical relevance to everyday life or scientific endeavors. Critics argue that metaphysical debates can be divorced from the pressing concerns of human existence, such as ethics, politics, and technology. However, defenders of metaphysics contend that it provides a foundational framework for addressing practical questions about the nature of reality, consciousness, and human existence. Moreover, they argue that metaphysical exploration can inspire scientific inquiry by shedding light on the fundamental principles that underlie the physical world. The ongoing significance of metaphysics. Despite the challenges and criticisms it has faced, metaphysics continues to hold a prominent place in the realm of philosophy and the broader intellectual landscape. Its significance remains multifaceted and enduring for several reasons. 1. Foundational inquiry. Metaphysics serves as a foundational inquiry that explores the fundamental principles and concepts that underlie all other branches of philosophy. It provides the philosophical bedrock upon which ethical, epistemological, and political inquiries rest. Understanding the nature of being, existence, and reality is crucial for addressing questions about the nature of knowledge, morality, and society. 2. Shaping worldviews. Metaphysical perspectives often shape individuals' worldviews and beliefs about the nature of reality and existence. The metaphysical lens through which one views the world can influence their ethical values, religious convictions, and overall sense of purpose. Metaphysical explorations continue to have a profound impact on individuals' understanding of the human condition. 3. Inspirational to science. Metaphysics has historically inspired scientific inquiries by posing fundamental questions about the nature of the physical world. The pursuit of understanding the ultimate nature of reality, whether through cosmology, quantum mechanics, or consciousness studies, often draws from metaphysical considerations. As such, metaphysics and science share a dynamic and mutually influential relationship. 4. Ethical and existential questions. Metaphysical discussions intersect with questions of ethics, existentialism, and the meaning of life. Explorations of free will, the nature of consciousness, and the existence of a divine reality have profound implications for ethical and existential inquiries. Metaphysics engages with the deepest questions of human existence and the values that guide our actions. 5. Intellectual diversity. Metaphysics is a field of philosophy that encompasses diverse perspectives and traditions. From idealism to materialism, from dualism to monism, metaphysics accommodates a broad range of philosophical positions. This diversity encourages open dialogue and debate, promoting intellectual richness and the exchange of ideas. Conclusion. Metaphysics is a dynamic and enduring branch of philosophy that continues to provoke profound questions about the nature of reality, existence, and the universe. It encompasses a wide array of concepts and principles that shape our understanding of being, substance, time, and causation. While metaphysics has faced challenges and criticisms throughout its history, it remains a vital field of inquiry with enduring significance. Metaphysical discussions intersect with the natural sciences, the philosophy of science, and contemporary debates in the philosophy of mind, consciousness, and cosmology. Metaphysics also inspires reflection on ethical and existential questions, guiding individuals in their search for meaning and purpose in the world. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the universe and grapple with the fundamental questions of existence, metaphysics stands as an indispensable philosophical discipline that invites us to ponder the deepest aspects of our reality and our place within it. Its enduring allure lies in its capacity to challenge, inspire, and shape our understanding of the world and our journey through it. Thank you for watching Deeper Dimensions. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel for new videos every week.